Hi everyone, I'm Stephanie. I'm the On Point Stitcher. Welcome back to my Flosstube channel. Today is September 20th, 2024, and this is my first mid-month update, and I'm so excited to be here. So I am trying to get together a video for you once a week. Every other week will probably be a stitch with me unless it's a weird month and there are 5 weeks to the month. Sometimes that happens, but I am trying to get 2 regular Flosstube videos out to you every month, and then on those other weeks I will work on getting a stitch with me video together for you. So this is going to be Flosstube number 23, and I am so ready to get into what I've been working on. So the first project that we're going to look at today is He Is Risen, and I'm doing the mini. It's charted by Heaven and Earth Design, and the artist is Donna Gelsinger. This is a stitch along. It's the He Is Risen Indeed Sal. So if you're working on this one, go ahead and join us. We'd love to see your progress too. So in the month of September, I worked on this one for the first week of the month, and I've been trying to do that every month since we started. So this month, it got 6 days and 1,529 stitches and is now at 12.98%, and I guess I didn't have it in me to get to that last 2%, but here it is. I still have it in the hoop. I didn't want to take it out completely, but I'm working on so this is the first page here, and I moved down to the page underneath of it. So that's where I am right now. I feel like I have a frog in my throat. I'm sorry. Okay, so this one will come out again in October for that first week of October. And that one I'm working on 20 count 2/1 full cross with DMC. I just realized I didn't say welcome to all of you. So welcome and thank you for being here. If you're new, a lot of my projects are kind of reoccurring right now. I try to throw in something a little different at least once a month, but a lot of my projects are things that a lot of my viewers have already seen, but that's okay. That's what Flosstube is about, is just sharing what you are doing. So thanks for being here, and let's keep on going. Next project to talk to you about is going to be Day Fairy. This is another stitch along. This is a pattern that I had in my stash for years and years, and I kept on telling myself I was going to stitch it, and then I took a look at the chart and got a little scared. So I kept on putting it away, and then there was a stitch along that popped up from some very lovely stitchers that I've always admired, and I joined in the stitch along with them. So we already did the nighttime fairy, and now I am working on the daytime fairy to get her finished up. And since you saw her last, I really only worked on her for 1 day. I think. No, it was 2 days. Since you saw her last, I worked on her 2 times. But the goal for this month on the Day Fairy was to just get the wing finished. So I did get that done. So her wing is all done, and I started working more up in the sun behind her. So she is standing with the sunlight behind her, and the sunlight is kind of shining through her wings. And so I'm working a little bit on the sun right now, And this is on 28 count Monaco, and it's a mixture of 1/2 and 2/2, just depending on how opaque or translucent the artist wanted the stitches to be. Now this one I am stitching in hand, and because it's so large, I am doing the sewing method most of the time. I just find it pretty easy to do the sewing method in hand on 28 count because it's basically 14 count, and so it's easy. It's just, you just go. All right, so next is going to be, and I'm sorry I keep on looking down, that's where my notes are. I need to get like a stand and have it like right underneath of where I have my phone so that when I look to my notes, I'm not looking so far away from you. All right, next is gonna be Autumn Dragon by Sheena Pike, charted by Heaven and Earth Design. This chart is retired and my kids call her Marigold. Now, if you remember last time, I had her out of the hoop because she had reached a huge milestone. I had had 2 page finishes and finished her tail. So now I am back up in the shoulder, and interestingly enough, she's back in a Q-snap. I had her in a Nerge hoop for 2 or 3 months, and I really enjoyed working on her in the Nerge hoop, but I found that I'm having an easier time working on her in a Q-snap. And I think the reason for that is just because there's so much material that it's hard to wrangle. And not just that, but I'm also working on her on 25 count 2/1, which makes it like really bulky, and it's easier for the Q-snap to go around that bulky fabric than it is for the Nerge hoop. So the Nerge hoop I have repurposed, and I'll be using it for a project that I'm starting on Sunday. All right, so here she is. As of right now, back in that hoop, in that Q-snap, and I started up here back in her shoulder. And what's interesting is I actually found like a small mistake in her shoulder, but it was enough that I could, if you'll see, I have a pin in my fabric. I do, and sometimes you'll see them like on, like just kind of on some of the patterns, and that's because I will use them as counting pins. So that's kind of a new thing to me. I started doing that about 3 or 4 months ago. I had gotten lost a little bit, or not really so much lost, but on one of my projects, I wanted to make sure that it would be in the correct place, and so I started giving myself some counting pins here and there, and I'm finding it to be very helpful. So anyway, I was able to fix the mistake here, and then I followed her jawline. So this will be the bottom of her jaw. This is like the shadow underneath her jaw, and then I started on her tummy, and she's got a cute little leaf on her chest here. So working in some yellows. Now she got 2 days since you saw her last, and 1,116 stitches, which is quite a bit of stitching for 2 days. Wow. She's at 41.99%. Okay, next is one that I didn't put very much into since the last time you saw it, but progress is progress, so I'll only show you the section that I worked on because this one's hard to see on the camera. So this is Cookie Delivery. It's another Sheena Pike, charted by Heaven and Earth Design. It's also retired, and this is Cookie Delivery, and I like to work on this one usually when I am traveling, or I'm sitting in the car waiting for my kids or something like that. But I'm trying to get to a major goal. So cookie delivery did not come out as many times as I wanted to so far. Let me make sure that I'm holding this the correct way. So this is where I worked on cookie delivery, and this is it's the icing on the cookie. I know it's hard to see, it's like really hard to see, but there's a large cookie here, and I'm working on a color completion of 819 in DMC, and so I worked just in that area. It got one day 100 and there it is, 151 stitches, 23.39%. So really not that much, but progress is progress. And when you see her next month, I'm sure that there will be more to see. So fingers crossed, we'll see. I've got a pretty big goal coming up, so I'll tell you about that here in just a minute. All right, the next project is actually the last one that I worked on thus far for this month, and that is Walk as One by Jody Bergsma, charted by Heaven and Earth Designs. If you haven't figured out, I love full coverage. So, and I have some very exciting news about this one. It is out of the hoop, and we all know what that means when I take something out of the hoop. It means I have a page finish. But I don't just have one page finish. I have 2 page finishes. So I finished the page that we were looking at last time, and I finished the page right underneath, and it is a partial page, but it's almost a complete page. So here is my progress on Walk as One. This month so far has gotten 10 days, 4,539 stitches. And, hold on, I'm looking, it is at 84.72%. Okay, so you're just thinking, Steph, why are you pushing so hard on this project? So I'm going to give you a closer view of the section that I worked on. Let me fold this back a little bit right here. And I'll talk while I'm doing that. Full Coverage Fanatics has a goal that is called Focus on a Finish. And this year, at the beginning of this year, I said I wanted to finish this project. I would love for it to be hung up for Christmas. My lighting keeps on changing as I get closer. What does that mean for this project? What it means for this project is that I have to push, and I didn't even figure this out until last week. I was looking over my stitch count, and I realized I was not going to make it. And like I said, I would love to have it finished before the end of the year, so before December 31st. I would like to have it finished either December 1st or December 15th, and I'm giving myself a wide range of a time frame because life happens and things can happen, and if something comes up and I don't make it by the 1st, then I can hopefully make it by the 15th. So that meant that I had to figure out, with the help of Stitch Pal and my calculator, I had to figure out what I needed to do to get this done. So I have to do at least 500 stitches a day through tomorrow because I have another project planned and other plans for the rest of the month. So I had to do 500 stitches for, I think, 8 days. So I've been doing pretty well on that. Some of the days I've actually gotten more, some of the days I've gotten less, of course. But I've been sticking very, very close to that 500. And that is all due to the fact that it is a lot of block stitching for the rest of this pattern because it's all snow. So even though it is like, it's got some things going on. So I'm working down here right now. Even though there's got some things going on, it's a lot of the same colors coming in and getting work done. And so I am stitching not quite twice as fast, but almost twice as fast than if I'm working with anywhere from mid to heavy confetti, just because I can go pretty quickly. So that's really nice. So the thought was, and I talked about this very briefly in my last Flosstube, was that I was hoping to do the 30 minutes a day challenge, and I wasn't able to do it because I was getting over being sick, and I'm still kind of getting over being sick. I came down with COVID the first week of the month. Yeah. I started getting it the last Friday in August, and I didn't know what I had until I woke up Monday morning on Labor Day with a very familiar splitting headache and was like, oh no, I know what this is. So I spent the day in bed for 2 days in a row, could not get up. I was too dizzy. Everyone has, gets it differently. I get really, really bad headaches, all of the like head cold stuff, and then I get very dizzy, and then I am tired for weeks after the other symptoms go away. So I am on the road to recovery now. I am almost 100%. I would say I'm about 90%. And I could not get up in the mornings to do that 30 minutes a day. I did like one so far. I've done like one day that I did that, where I actually was able to get up and do the 30 minutes like before I got up, and so I was like, that's not gonna work. So I am going to have to just stitch quicker and harder to get to the goal of 500 in the evenings and go to bed at a decent hour so that I can recover. So that means that in the upcoming months, I am hoping to get better at getting up a little bit earlier every single morning and get that extra 30 minutes of stitching in order to get this completed and get to the goal of having it done by December 1st or December 15th. But it meant that I really, really, really had to get lots of stitches in this week so that I could focus on my new project for the upcoming month. So now that I've talked forever about just one project, thank you for sitting and listening through all of that. I know that was just way too much information. This coming up Sunday is the first day of fall here in my region, and Angie and I are going to be starting a stitch along, and we are going to start this lantern project, which I showed you in my last video, and we talked a little bit more about this upcoming project, and we are going to make it a yearly thing that we start a fall project on the first day of fall. And I think I have already decided what I want to start next year, but I'm not 100%, so I'm not going to share that yet. But I'm excited. That's it for the rest of the month. Just, I'm going to work on Walk as One. 2 more days. I am planning on working on Grand Library for at least 1 day so we can do that stitch along, and then the rest of the month is going to be working on the lantern project. And so I'm okay with those plans. You're not going to see a whole lot of projects next time, but who knows, possibly if I get a lot more done then I'm expecting, you know, I'll fit something in. If not, you know, I've got some other plans to make next video really fun. So as far as like Flosstube, so that's coming up. I did get to go to my stitch in this past Wednesday. There is a really good group of stitchers here in Colorado Springs that we get together at least twice a month, usually 3, and I didn't get to go to the first one at the beginning of the month because I was sick, but I did get to go to the most recent one, and oh, it was so fun. I am super duper shy, and so this was only my second time going, and so I still did the whole like introverted thing where, you know, you find someone that you want to hang out with and then you kind of just stay there. But in the upcoming stitch-ins, my plan is to make my way around the room and get to know more of the ladies, because being shy is silliness. And so I would really like to get to know more of the stitchers and see more of what they're working on. So there are some amazing stitchers there. It's not just cross stitching. So there's ladies that embroider, there's ladies that do hardanger, and there's some other types of stitching and embroidery that I have never heard of and never seen before, and some of them do that. And so I really need to make myself go around the room and see what everyone is working on and introduce myself and all the things. And I need to stitch myself a name tag, because that is something that they did when they started the group. Everyone stitched a name tag, and so I need to stitch a name tag for myself. That way, when I'm there, you know, people know who I am. So, and we do have new people that show up. We have new people that join on the Facebook group. Goodness, every now and then my dyslexia gets the best of me. We have new people that join on the Colorado Needleworks Facebook group. Like, there's usually 3, sometimes more a week, and so we always have new people coming. I'm gonna go ahead and sign off, and I will see you next time for the next update. You have a wonderful day. Enjoy your weekend and enjoy the rest of September, and I will see you the first weekend in October for the next Flosstube, but I will have another video coming out next week for a Stitch With Me video. I'll see you next time. Make life a little more beautiful, one stitch at a time. Bye guys. Happy stitching.